Our mission is to enlist, educate, and empower young trailblazers to boom and change the world. What our work does is, instead of talking to children about all of the things that they need to fix, what if we talk to students about all of the things that they already have, all the things that they already are? What if we taught people how to love themselves and teach other people how to love themselves and start to build communities that love themselves and eventually have a country and a world that is about love instead of fear? What if that is our mission instead of fear? And so that is what BOOM is about. Our program is pretty much three-tiered. The first summer is about self. We focus in really, really hard on things like spirit and ego, love and fear, your family history, your ancestry. What gifts and strengths do you have right now? What is your purpose in life? Then in the second summer, we do a summer of Sankofa. And so summer of Sankofa is when we start to think about history prior to European colonization, the history that's not taught in school, and how does that impact who you are? The third summer is another summer of Sankofa, where we start to talk about African impact in this country. And finally, the summer of solutions, where we start to think about how do you take the gifts that you have and the things that you want to do and the purpose that you have in life and move forward before you go into college. So that way you see yourself as somebody who can change the world right now, instead of us pushing the story that you have to go to college and you have to go somewhere into some career before you can do anything. You can do it right now. So that's BOOM. I actually have one of our trailblazers here, Miss Nia Johnson, and she is going to talk a little bit about like some of the stuff that we did last year in the summer, and then more importantly, why student leadership is so critical.
Hi, I'm Nia, like she said, and so last summer, that was 2016, yes, okay. So last summer we did a think tank and we talked about different ways that we can express ourselves, because everyone knows it, but the youth in America is going through a lot. Like, they're growing up, especially Black Americans, youth altogether, but especially the Black American youth. They're going through a lot and they can't voice their opinions. Like, it's hard, so they act out in rage, and so then that's why we have them fighting back with police or the riots that have been happening. Like, everyone's angry and it's been compressed and no one's tried to help them release it. So we talked about different ways that we can release it, like doing dance and singing and theater and writing, and I personally do everything that I just said, so I understand like that actually helps, because that's how I release everything. When I was brought up, I've been knowing my history since day one. Like, my parents were like, you're going to know everything like about your history. So I had to learn how to release it, because I would get so angry, and you can't take it out on the people today, because it's not their fault that their ancestors messed up and have us where we are today. And so that's what a lot of kids go through whenever they're learning it, is they want to take that anger out, but they're inflicting it on the wrong people. And so we learned how to channel it, and we learned about our history, and it's really important for us to know that, because, it's important for us to have youth activists, period, because we are the future. And so if you don't start with us now, then when we're the adults and we haven't been taught anything, and so we'll just have a super angry country basically if we just deal with all that's going on, but we never help the kids, because then they grow up to be the adults today, and then they're the parents, and so if we have angry parents make angry children. So then we'll just have this cycle of angry people because no one ever releases it. And so it's really important for us to start now, and not even just start with the kids, because we have adults and knowledge has no age on it. So you can teach the adults, the parents that we have for these kids today, we can teach them how to help the kids, so the kids can help themselves, and then when they become the adults, they can help the future generations. That's all I have to say.
All right. So that's Naya. And so when I think about like what this work is for, it really is about like changing the narrative of saving children to seeing them as solutions. Making sure that we have people coming up who are actually going to change the world and not repeat this cycle. Side note, so Ramsey and Kelly told me to just go ahead and slide this in. I do consulting as well. And so in my consulting work, this is the second tier. So to Nida's point, it's not enough to just focus in on youth. My second piece of work is focusing in on teachers and leaders and education organizations that want to do this work, but may not have started from the impetus of seeing students and communities as solutions. So a lot of my work is going in and helping people to understand the history of our country, understand like what it means when you say, well, these kids need so much help, but we're not saying, the kids over here from my neighborhood actually need help too, to understand the real history of this country. Everybody's miseducated. We just have some people who have privileges with their miseducation. That's the difference. And so working with organizations to understand that a little bit better so that we can change the work that's being done and we can all work towards an end of ending inequity, period. So, in conclusion, I really wanted to push you guys. The reason why I like to share my story is not because I like to talk about myself. I share my story because I believe that all of us in our narrative truly have the answers to what we are called to do. A lot of us already knew what we were called to do when we were children. A lot of us did. But the thing is, our life in this world layers us with these different identities and fears that lead us into a path of choosing what can be easy or what is like less scary or what will give us clout, things to battle fears, instead of figuring out like what are the ways that we can use our lights, our gifts, our narratives to pull out the light in other people. I really genuinely believe that this generation, this era of time, is the light bearers. I really, really believe that this is the generation of spirits and this is the generation of understanding. I think this is the one time in our history that we've had people who are so connected to each other globally, more accepting of various identities, more able to move forward at a younger age. This is the generation. And so I share this story to say, like, in your narrative, whatever it is, whether you're driven by love or driven by fear, find a way to connect to your light, pull out love in yourself, and really start to figure out how to cultivate the love in other people, because I really, really do believe that you guys are it. If it doesn't happen with y'all, I do believe that this world is doomed, and I'm saying that with all sincerity. So that is the reason why I'm pushing the love agenda, and I'm pushing you guys to really, really push love in yourselves and each other. So that's my story, that's my work, and that's it.